Kevin, a 4-0 defeat against Bradford today. It looked too easy for them, really, for Bradford today. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think first 20-25 is pretty even and stuff, and obviously they scored first, and it gives them the confidence, and obviously having a good season, and you can see the desired effect it had on us. It's something we've talked about. When we need to battle and make sure we're doing the right things when things go against us. Obviously the goals from my point of view were too easy, really. So again, we've had a good week preparing, coming into the game feeling confident that we're going to get performance and the results. And once we've crossed the white line again, it's been disappointing, particularly at home again. Yeah.
I think it's 49 goals conceded all together this season at the moment, and those goals conceded today, you mentioned, must be really disappointing from a manager's point of view. How do you assess them, the way they've been conceded? Yeah,
well, again, we'll watch them back and stuff. And, one or two players apologising for what they were doing there, so it's something that we continue to do. We'll go home and watch the game back, and speak to the players and address it and try and put it right. We felt we picked the right team based on, we had 2 hours working on Thursday night, working at basic principles of defending. Went back to a back four today, of course, and a four in front of that, trying to be hard to beat as we did early on in the season, and it wasn't hard to beat, was it? So disappointing. The goals were really poor from our point of view.
I was just going to mention about the formation there. You picked the same 11 as last week, but you went to a 4-4-2. Was that the idea, to be more solid, to have those two banks of four there?
Yeah, of course. And listen, as I said, we worked for 2 hours on Thursday. We put the graft in, and basic principles were put down by myself and John. Everyone understood their roles and responsibilities and things. And like I say, the first goal's in, and then it was, head seemed to go down again. That's something, obviously, the confidence issue. We can't keep going back to that as a group. It's obviously a difficult period for everyone involved, but a lot of new players in there that we've brought to the club who've not been at the club at the start, and all the other things going on, so they have to deal with that as a group of people and stand up, and it has to mean something to them. They have to show a bit more desire and passion, and do the basic principles to stop the ball going in our net. And at the minute, again, John's not had too many saves to make, but every decent chance that comes up against us seems to go in the back of our net, and it's the same in Boston, which is extremely frustrating, really. So really disappointed with the goals that we've conceded. If there's only one way we can do, we have to keep working hard and sticking together as a group. I say there's some big characters in there now. We're really disappointed in there, and it's up to us to have the conversations now, a couple of days to turn it around and go for another difficult game at Chorley.
Yeah, on the substitutions, you brought Don Smith and Adam Dawson on, then Josh Hine came on for Adam Dawson. Were those tactical, any injuries in there?
Dawson obviously came on and did his calf. Obviously we kept a similar formation. We asked Jack to go and play out on the left and sort of put 5 in there, and a slight change, but we feel with the squad of players they can adapt to situations and formations depending on what we see. So large periods of the second half it was a lot better, but obviously the fourth goal goes in, and it puts a dampener on the performance, really. So second half was a bit better. We created a few chances, it's just not quite going our way at the moment, so very frustrating. A couple of big games to come now, and hopefully the lads will dust themselves down, prepare well, we go again and give it our best shot again. That's all we can do as a group, and we keep saying the right things, keep trying to work hard as a group, and we're confident that at some stage it's going to turn for us.
I know every game's different, but when you look at this run we've been on, you look at the likes of Southport, Boston and Bradford tonight, what do you think they've got that Southport haven't got at the moment?
It's hard to say. I don't really want to look at other people and other clubs. We have to think about what we're doing as a group. As I said to the players, it has to mean something. We have to see hard work, determination, and the group sticking together and putting the effort in, and all the basic principles of trying to win a football match. So there's a lot of teams that have been dragged down there and struggling. We've got a couple of tough games coming up, and then a period of games where we're playing teams in and around us, and that's we're looking at these 2 games coming up, preparing for that. You can get a decent result against a good team, and it can suddenly turn. We know we need the win to lift us as a group, as a whole group. But I said to the players, nobody's going to hand you a victory. You have to go and try and earn it, and that is down to sheer determination and resilience and all those kind of things that it takes. And we're not seeing that enough at the minute, and it's something we need to get into the group very quickly.
Yeah, there have been lots of comings and going. What do you think kind of the biggest issue at the moment? Is it organisational? Is it maybe psychological competence? Is it getting that number of players to gel?
A little think, like I say, we prepared well. The training's been really good. You know, John's coming in from an outside. I've seen the group for 2 sessions, and you know, there's a lot of good players in there. But it takes more than good technical ability to win football matches. It's all the other horrible side of the game that it takes. You know, sticking your head in where it hurts, and like I say, being well organised leaders, you know, doing all the right things against the ball, and sticking to the game plan. And obviously, when you're going 1-2 goals down, it's difficult for the group to try and recover. But they've got to find it from within themselves. We feel that we're putting all the preparation, doing all the right things, getting all the belts in, nice facilities and stuff. But players have to go out there and take some responsibility as a group, and they have to keep believing in each other. There's a few young players in there. The experienced players now have to get around them and you know, put some reassurance in there as a group. It's a difficult period for everyone. I feel sorry for 1 or 2 players having to come into this environment. We've got some very good players, Jordan Allen coming out. We've got good technical players. We just need a bit more fight in us, and that's what the fans want to come and see. That's the minimum requirement, and they have to step up to the plate. And there's no hiding place out there. Once they get out there, it's a battle. We're in a battle, and we're not seeing enough of those battling qualities at the moment from everyone.
Yeah, we're all hopeful that this run of results will change sooner rather than later. But I think it's 17 games now on the whole without a win into the bottom 3 today. How serious kind of is this rut, and would you say that this task in turning the fortunes round is maybe more difficult than you initially expected when you came in?
No, I didn't expect it to be easy. I think there's been a couple of games early on where games were here. I think the little things that have just gone against us, you know, a little bit of luck, a ball ricochets and, you know, he goes out of play and we win the game, and I think you'd have lift-off. So we've been ahead in, I think that's 6 out of 10 games. But not done quite enough things to see them out, and there's, you know, lots of good things to see going forward. We're always going to create chances. I thought it was a frustrating day for Jason and Jack up there today, because they've been really forming a good partnership, and we've got good players that can create. We're always going to create chances. We did again today, but it's just not going in. But it's the other side of that we need to really address with. So it's a difficult situation psychologically dropping in there. But listen, we know where we are. I feel that we brought players in who were big enough characters, and people that have won the league. You know, we're building a squad to try and compete at the top end of the table. This season's a little bit of transition, we all know that. The expectation when I came in would have to go on a good run and try and get in around the playoffs, and we found ourselves at the other end, so that's difficult to take. I take responsibility for everything since I've been here in terms of team selection, formation and stuff. I don't think there's many games where we've been done tactically. You know, last week in Boston, 2 set pieces late on cost us a game. You know, there was little things that are costing us dearly. We've dropped probably 8 to 10 points, which would put us in a much better position, and that's the reality of it. So the small margins are, you know, costing us at the minute, and it's something that we need to address and just keep reinforcing to the group. That's down to myself and John and the staff around to really get amongst them, and you know, all those reassurances and doing all the right preparation. It's a task that, you know, we're challenged with, and you know, there'll be no dropping the fight from me. You know, I'll be going even harder and putting more demands on them and trying to galvanise the group, and you know, there'll be conversations we had only a couple of days to turn this around now before Chorley. So you know, we just keep going as a group, trying to remain positive. You know, we're not going to have any time really to work on them before Chorley, but after that, again, it's down the training ground, working hard, and working harder than the teams around us. That's all we can do. It's hard work and people taking on board what we're trying to do, and you know, we're confident we'll turn it around and we'll go on a decent run.
And just finally, a word on the assistant manager's role. John Dray has left this week and John McCarthy has come in. Can you just explain how that's come about and what John McCarthy will bring to the setup? Yeah,
I think there's always going to be a conversation to be had between myself and John Dray towards the end of the year, because obviously he's travelling up from Luton, and the conversation we had was, you know, I kind of felt even more now than ever that we needed to be spending more time together, and we just couldn't quite give me that commitment. And it was a conversation that we sort of knew was coming, and obviously John McCarthy become available, and you know, having spent a week with him already, he's, like I said, coming into the game again, a real positive feel around the place. Training's been really good, and you just don't see that kind of performance and result coming, which is hard to take really as a manager, because I've had that feeling on quite a few occasions, and just not something that the transition from training to what I see in training is like a different team out there, and that's really hard to fathom really, because there's some quality in there. So John comes in and he's, you know, my assistant again, very good coach, brings a lot of knowledge. and you know, the relationship's got off to a good start so far between us, and obviously disappointed with what we've seen out there, but we have to try and stay on the group, the positives. You know, we did create chances again and stuff. It's hard to take any positives from losing home at 4-0, but we have to remain positive, keep getting to the group, and keep reinforcing those messages now between myself and John and all the other staff and everybody's involved with the club. We have to stick together and believe that things are going to change. We've got half the season to go, and it needs to be better than the first half, clearly.
I appreciate that.
No worries, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Have a nice Christmas.
And you too.